Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I thought I was recording. I was not. Lessons learned and being new at this. So, what I am doing is, let me rephrase that. I took a 12 by 12 sheet of scrapbook paper that I'm not crazy about. And I had watched a video from Roxy Creations, and it's using up your 12 by 12 pieces of paper. So what I did was I had fussy cut a book for the images, and what I was left with was the text. And I thought, I'm going to tear that up and I'm going to collage it. So I did that. What Roxy did in her video is she kind of did full sheets of book pages, which is completely fine. I may do that with some foreign book pages as well, but I used a gardening book that I knew would not have any inappropriate or offensive language in it. I glued it all down with a glue stick, just on my glue pages here that I use. And one thing that I did say that I thought I was saying that apparently I didn't, because I wasn't recording, is when you're gluing, make sure you glue generously and get all of your edges, okay? And then when you do stick it down, you want to take something that, an old credit card or a shopping card, you want to make sure that all those edges are stuck down so you don't have any crazies. So there's that. And what I did was I took some gesso and just knocked the text back a little. It just made it a little muted, if you will. If you don't have white gesso, you can certainly use white acrylic paint. You can use any color that you want if you want that color in your background. And I apologize, this is hard to open. So basically what I did, oh, that's all over the lid. Basically what I did is, I don't see right here, and I just took my finger like this, and I took the layer of a white napkin that's under the decorative edge, and I just wiped it on and wiped it off. And then it's there, and it's just a muted, background. So now that I put that on there, oops, again, what I'm gonna do is just take my heat gun to it, make sure it's dry. If you don't have a heat gun, you could use a hair dryer, or for those of us that live in the colder climate, you could certainly lay it on your register and just allow the heat blowing from your register to dry that for you. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, what I've done in my little tray, taken this antiquing medium. It says Nutmeg by Folk Art. I think I got this at Walmart. I don't know. I put some in my tray with a little bit of water, because for me this background is just a little too bright. So we'll see what happens here. I'm a little nervous because this looks really, really brown. Maybe I'll just water it down a little bit more. I have me a napkin here, so we'll see what happens. All right, I'm just gonna oh, that's not a bad color. All right, just gonna kind of smear it around and act like I'm in kindergarten again, because it's fun. And let's see, I'm just gonna take this napkin, I'm gonna wet it just a little, and then just gonna wipe that around. Oh, well, look at that. All right, so I'll be back. I'm just gonna finish doing the whole thing. Okay, so this is a little dark for me, the end result here with what I did. So now what I'm gonna try to do is take a baby wipe and wipe. Oh, look what that's doing. All right. So I rubbed a little too hard, didn't want to take that much of it off, but look what it's doing to all the joints, so I'm okay with that. Because my intent is for this, you'll see, is why I don't need a super dark background. Let's darken that back up. I used most of my paint. Okay, so it's really just kind of playing and getting the desired result. So I'll finish doing this and I'll be right back. I think it didn't record again. I'm trying to learn how to do this, so I apologize. What I'm going to do now is going to glue some random napkins down. I have a beautiful pile here. I'm just going to tear some images out and glue them down. You can use Mod Podge, PVA, tacky glue, watered down, whatever you want to use. Just make sure you have a solid layer of glue under your napkin, and then I'll come back and we will look at what that looks like. At this point, you can take one of your flat cards and gently roll over your napkin. You want to make sure that all of your edges are glued down really, really well, or they'll lift, and you don't want them to lift. Okay? You want to make sure everything's glued down. And if it does lift, then we will address that when we're done gluing. Oh, so what I've done is now I have my flowers all over, a little, well, as random as I could do. I'm not good at random, but I'm trying to learn. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the whole thing with some matte medium, and I'll let that dry, and I'll be back when that's done. Okay, I've let this dry overnight, and I have some pretty flowers all dried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to trim the edges where everything is kind of over the edge here. Square it up, which it's already square. It's a 12 by 12 piece of paper. I just mean clean it up. And I did misspeak last night. I said Roxy, but it's Rachel from Roxy Creations, where I saw this, where she did this. So what I'm also going to do is, rather than collage different coffee dyed paper on the back or digitals or whatever, I have 12 by 12 kind of a medium weight cardstock that I coffee dyed. So what I'm going to do is just glue that to the back and let that dry. So I'll be back. So I've just taken my tacky glue, glued all over the back of the collage page. I'm just taking my coffee dyed paper and lining up my edges. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to press outward, making sure I kind of stay even. And then what you can do is you can take, again, your old credit card or shopping card, or if you have a brayer, I just want to squish that glue around so we get a good hold, and I'm going to go in every direction and try not to break my brayer. So I'll be back. Oops, sorry. Okay, so it's all glued on. And if you're like me and you're generous with your glue and it squishes out the edges, just take a napkin and wipe it off. And I didn't get it exactly square on the edges, but you know what? Well, maybe I did. Just doesn't look like it on the front. Maybe that's where I trimmed it down. But that's okay. It's just paper, and when this completely dries, I will trim it into cards, journaling card sizes, and we'll see what we end up with. This ought to be interesting. So I'll be back once this dries and I get it all cut up. Okay, so I have cut it up and we will see what we have. I have not peeked. I cut it face down, I stacked it up, and I carried it in here so that we could see what happened. Okay, so ready? All right. Ooh, very cool. So I did 4x6. Ah, look at that. It's so pretty. 4x6. And, ooh, another 4x6. Oh, I like that. That's all one napkin, but I love it. And that was on a corner, so I'm glad it came out like it did. And it looks like that one I cut crooked. I'll have to fix it. My cutter's funny sometimes. Okay, so now what else do we have? Oh, here's 2 of the 3x4s, which are pretty cool. Yay. And then I did some longer tags for longer pockets. Oh, I like this. It caught a little bit of a few of the different napkins, so that's cool. And same with this one. It caught a few. And then this piece was just a leftover of the 6-inch, so it should be about like, I don't know what it's going to measure. Let's see. Yeah, about 2x6. So that'll be a nice long tag. We can do something small here. So let me dig out something and try to embellish these. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back and I have decided to do this card. And I got all my little Tim Holtz people out and couldn't decide what I wanted to do, but this just felt so springy and bright and I just loved it. So it's the one that I chose, and I got this little ballerina girl. I just love her. I have used her before on an altered playing card that I traded. So I had these chipboard words from Tim Holtz, and I flipped it over to open it, and Choose to Shine was the first word, and I said, okay, that's gonna work. But when I laid it down, it was a little too thick, so what I did was just took my nail and I peeled the layers apart. I hope you can see that. So I just thinned it, so it wasn't so bulky to have on my journaling card. So what I have done is I knew I wanted her, so I took a Pitt pen and a Faber-Castell Pitt pen, and it's a purple color. I don't know the shade, and I've put it away. I'm not going to dig it back out right now. If you need to know the color, you want a color, just ask me in the comments and I'll answer you with what color that is. So I was playing around with her, and in the detail, I hope you can see, she has like a little flower on her cap and little flowers on her little dress, and I thought, I don't have anything that tiny that's a flower to embellish her, so I just said, what can I do? So first I looked at these little pearls and I thought, oh, that would be kind of cute, but I thought it would be too big, so I set that aside. And I just looked in my scraps, or my little bin, and I found this one little piece of black bling, so that's going on her hat. And I have this little bow that is just a little knot tied in some ribbon that I thought I would glue to the bodice of her dress. And so I was doing that, and I have already glued the eyelash trim to the back of Choose to Shine. If any of you actually know me, I have a thing with eyelash trim. I absolutely love it. So this was kind of what I put together, and then I thought I couldn't see this lace well enough. On the back, it's white lace, and I just took worn lipstick and inked it to give it some color because the white didn't show and I thought the pink would. Then I decided the pink just wasn't enough contrast, so I dug and I found this piece of black lace. So this is kind of what I've come up with to embellish my journaling card. So what I will do is I will get it glued, and I will come back because it's kind of fiddly, and I don't want to be dropping and trying to pick stuff up on screen. What I will tell you is Choose to Shine and the black lace I will glue with my Beacon 3-in-1 glue, just because I know it's going to hold it. She will get glued down with my art glitter glue, as well as the little bow. And I have this beacon gem tack that I use for little rhinestones and embellishments. So I'll just put a little dot on that on the back of that gemstone and get it all glued down, and I'll be back. I forgot to tell you that I'm going to go around the edges of the card with the Distress Oxide. I want to give that edge of this a little more definition. Turn my overhead light off just there, so please let me know if that helped you be able to see better, or if it is better with that light on. It depends on the lighting. The sun is actually shining today, which is a wonderful thing. I'm very, very, very happy to see the sunshine. So I've been cleaning up my craft table while I was waiting on this to dry. And I feel better about my workspace. I have a table that has 20 little golden books on it right now. And I have at least that many more to make some journals that I'd like to try to sell. So well, hopefully that'll go well. We'll see. Okay, so I've inked all around that now. You can see the difference with how it just gave it that vintage feel and gave the edges a little more definition. Now I will glue everything on and I'll be back. Okay, so it's glued. So we have our Choose to Shine, which that's not wanting to stay down. So I'm gonna set a book on top of that, or a little weight on top of that, just to hold that piece of chipboard down while it dries. She has her little bit of bling there on her hat, her little bow, and her lace. So let me know what you guys think. Please give me honest feedback. Please don't be rude. Just give me honest feedback. Things you like, things you feel like I can do better. And if you have any ideas or any suggestions on what you'd like to see me make, or things I can help you with, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. Please make sure you like the video if you like it, and if you want to subscribe, I do plan to add more videos as I work on these little golden books. Thank you for watching.